Hey guys, I'm Martin, and I've been a dating and relationship coach for 17 years. And today's topic is about how people don't know what they want, but they think they do. So I'm gonna kick this off with a funny story from my dad. I remember, this is many years ago, I can't remember exactly how long ago now, but I was with my dad, and my dad said, I guess I was in high school because I think he was like driving me to school, and he said, yesterday, my dad was a psychiatrist, and so he always was meeting clients, and they were grateful and stuff. So he was saying, yesterday I was with this woman, and this fat woman, and she hugged me, and it was so soft and really like comfortable, and I don't know, if I'd experienced that when I was younger, then maybe I wouldn't have gone for a woman like your mom. And that's my point. You don't know what you like. You have ideas about what you like, but until you experience something, you really don't know. Now, there are plenty of guys and girls who are out there and they think they have a type. Now, I really think you should be very careful about having things like a type or a category, or creating categories in your mind around people. And that's because of something called confirmation bias. You've probably heard of it, but if you haven't, confirmation bias means that when you have an opinion or a thought, you look for and notice all the confirming evidence. And I don't mean you do this actively. This is your brain that does it automatically. You notice and you pay more attention to the confirming information, and you largely ignore or discount the disconfirming information. Okay, so when you think that you have a type, when you think a girl is your type, or you think a guy is your type, you're more likely to start to ignore anything that suggests that you shouldn't be with them. So I think I had this with my first girlfriend. On paper, she was really great. She on paper, in the sense, she came from a good family, she had a good educational background, she had various skills and talents that, made her seem very nice. She was in the honors program, she played instruments, she had all these things, and she was a generally nice person. But she really wasn't the person that I should have been with, and I wasn't the person she should have been with. But because I was looking at these kind of ideal, like about what she is, I thought, I should be with her. And so that's the problem with thinking you know what you want. So I do think that you should have some ideas, but those ideas should be based on how you spend your time, what's important to you, and your values. So if you're a really outdoorsy person and you like to spend time in the outdoors, then you may not really get along with someone who is more of a city person. But here's the thing. Let me use an example. So, I like the beach. So I often say to girls, can you swim? This depends on the country, because some countries in some countries, almost everyone can swim. In other countries, it's not typically learned. So if I know that the girl's from a country where it's less likely, or a socioeconomic background where she's less likely to have learned how to swim, I might say to her, or I will ask a girl, do you know how to swim? And if the girl says, no, I don't know how to swim. Now that doesn't mean like, okay, well I should eliminate this girl, she doesn't know how to swim. That's not the way I do it. Then I think, okay, well, then I'll say, well, why not? And she just might say, well, I just never had a chance to learn. Oh, okay, so, you'd be open to learning. And she says, yeah, I'd be open to learning. Okay, great, fine, perfect. All right, so she doesn't know how to swim, and she's open to learning. Now, in another case, there might be a woman who isn't open to learning. She says, no, I'm terrified of water. Now, that maybe you could still work with that, it's possible, but you should be aware that there's gonna be more of a hurdle. And so you're going to be looking if there are other traits about her that make it so that you would be more willing to deal with that hurdle, or I would be more willing to deal with that hurdle. So that's an example. Another example is very typically I might ask women, have you ever lived in another country from where you live? And most of them would say, no, I never have. And I'll say, would you, have you ever thought that you wanted to do that? And they go, yeah, some of them might go, yeah, I really want to. But some will go, no, I could never imagine living in another country. Now it's like, okay, well, for me, for my lifestyle, someone who has no interest in living in another country, not ideal. But someone who says, oh yeah, I really want to. That doesn't mean that if they did it, they would enjoy it, but at least they're open to the idea and would be willing to try it, right? So you can have some things about your lifestyle that you understand are elements of your lifestyle and understand what kind of person would fit into that lifestyle. But that's very different from a type, because these are things that you have to get from your interactions with her and from talking to her. I don't know, what else?
Yeah, it's what are the downsides of just having a type and going for that all the time?
Oh, right. Okay. So people are very, people think they know what they want, but when we develop some taste for something or some dislike for something, it's very situationally specific. So you believe that you don't like, okay, I'll use a personal example. I didn't like eggplant until I lived in Japan, where the eggplant tastes delicious and they cook vegetables way better. I mean, in the West, the way people cook vegetables is horrific. But, in Japan, in Korea, in most of Asia, they cook vegetables amazing. So there were lots of vegetables that I didn't really like, I wasn't really into. I remember I had in Japan, they would say, oh, this onion is sweet. This onion is sweet. What are they talking about? And then I tasted it. I said, oh, yeah, they're right about that. See, and so you could go through life thinking, I don't like certain things. And then what most people do is, oh, I don't like that, so they never try it again. Even though it's a different context, it's in a different way, but they just don't try it. And because they don't try it, it makes their life smaller and less rich. See, the way that I look at it is, there are things out there in the world that almost anything somebody likes. I'm a somebody, maybe I would like it, but I'm not gonna know unless I try it. And part of the other thing is that the context in which you experience something. My mom, she really hated zucchini and squash because when she was growing up, she had to have zucchini and squash every Sunday, or maybe it was every Friday, I can't remember. There was one day a week she always had to have zucchini and squash. But the thing was, if she was eating a delicious dish that had zucchini or squash in it and she didn't realize that's what was in it, she could enjoy it. Humans are weird that way. We're very weird. And you shouldn't be a slave to your weirdness, to your weaknesses, and to your failings. You should understand there are some things about me that don't make any sense and that take away from my life. And by challenging those things that you have, by challenging those beliefs and saying, okay, I don't like, what's a common, I don't like squid, okay, let's say. Well, even if you think you don't like squid, yeah, don't order a squid dish, fine. But if somebody else orders a squid dish, why not taste it? You might find that the reason that you think you don't like squid is because you've only had access to shitty squid. That is certainly, quality and the way something is prepared and the way something is presented have a big impact on how we experience that thing. And so by limiting yourself, you're giving yourself less options. And you know what? I'm going to add on something to this. This is kind of a bonus. One of the things that makes people seem old is that they have increasingly decided there are more things that they don't like. Usually younger people, they haven't had experiences. So they would say, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I want to do that. And older people are saying, I tried it, I didn't like it, never want to do it again. And it's like, okay, don't go out of your way to do something, but if it's right there, do it anyway. Go for it, try it. You might feel very differently about it. And that feeling of wanting to go and do and try is one of the things that makes it so that as an old guy, if you're an old guy, and I know I don't look like an old guy, but I'm an old guy, I can date girls that are 20 years younger than me, and they're still been legal for many years. Okay, that tells you something about my age. And One of the reasons that women may not enjoy dating an older guy is because he's done a lot of things, and because he's already done a lot of things, he doesn't want to do them any longer. And so now she can't have those experiences. So if you're an older guy and you want to date young women, you can't be like that because you're just raining on her parade all the time. She's going, oh, I want to go do this. I've been so excited. You go, it's not that good. Don't do it. It's like, why does she want to hang out with you if you're going to be poo-pooing everything? And so, and I have to say on the reverse side, this is one of the things that can make it a lot less pleasant to date older women, is they can be like that. I mean, it's one of the things that makes it unpleasant to be around older people, period. They often have a lot more judgments, and they've a lot more set about certain things. And so don't be like that if you want to have a very rich life. That's how people end up just staying home and never going outside anymore, because they go, well, I already tried everything and I don't like it, but in my house I can have everything exactly how I want it. And I've noticed this not only with people getting older, but with people having more money. The thing is, if you look at Uniqlo is, a fashion brand, not high fashion, but just regular clothes. And everybody can go to Uniqlo. Well, why? It's because the Uniqlo clothes are designed to be able to fit kind of the average person. Now, if you compare that with a tailored suit, let's say, that's designed to fit one person. The more money you have, the more you can afford to have tailored experiences. You can afford to have exactly what you think you want, presented to you exactly how you think you want it. And what happens is that it puts you in a smaller and smaller box and makes it increasingly hard for you to identify with other people. And so you end up more isolated, except for the few people who will just go along with exactly what you want. But you don't want to be with people who go along with exactly what you want, because you aren't going to learn things from those people. You learn things from people that are different from you and have different opinions and different thinking. And if you go for having everything only exactly as you want it all the time, you're going to miss out on so much of what life has to offer. And as I said, I've seen this with guys who have gotten a lot of money. I've seen this with guys as they get older. And it's more and more difficult to hang out with them, because if you're doing something, they go, oh, I'm not into that, so I'm not going to do it. Instead of going, hey, you know what? I want to hang out. I'll come and do it even though I don't really like it. So in the same way, I told you I hate camping in another video. I hate camping. I don't want to do it. But that doesn't mean I would never do it again. It's just that I'm not going to plan the camping trip. But if someone says, hey, we're going to go camping, we're going to do this, we really want you to come, I'm going to go, oh, fuck, why camping? I don't really want to go. But I'll probably go, because it's going to be like, I want to hang out with my friends, so I'll go. So, keep that in mind. I think that's really, just really key for just having a nice life, Don't cut yourself off from everything because of your beliefs about what you think you like and what you think you don't like. And the fact is that just because you don't like something doesn't mean you can't enjoy the overall experience of it anyway. It could be a great memory for you, even if it's something that, a lot of times the greatest memories can be about experiences that we would not have chosen and would probably avoid if we could. So, I think that's a good takeaway. I don't know, is it anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. You covered it.
Okay, great. Well, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, like and subscribe, and, don't be a dick. I don't like dicks.